Hey everyone, it's Erin here, and if you want to learn how to surf or just get better at it, then this video series is for you. I'm calling this whole thing Surfing 101, and I've really jam-packed some useful information that I think is the most important for learning how to surf. So go and grab yourselves your favorite beverage and a snack, maybe a notebook and paper if you really want to feel like you're in Surfing 101, and just sit back and relax, and let's talk about surfing. So in this first part of my Surfing 101 course, I will be going over all of the different types of equipment and gear that you will need to get out in the water. Obviously, if you want to learn how to surf, you're gonna need a surfboard. When you are first learning how to surf, you're going to want a board with lots of volume. I would personally recommend a foam board. You can pretty much find a foam board at any surf shop, surf camp, or surf rental location. So once you've gotten really comfortable on a foam board and you feel like you want to step it up to a real board, then I would recommend going for a fun-sized board. A fun board is a blend of a longboard and shortboard, so just think any mid-lengths between 6 foot to 8 foot. These boards are really great for navigating through smaller sized surf, and it gives you enough volume to feel comfortable paddling and getting into waves. Another type of surfboard is a longboard, and these are typically 9 feet and up. These have a lot of foam volume and are therefore very buoyant. Longboards are easy to paddle on and pretty effortless when you're trying to catch a wave, so it's the perfect board for smaller size surf or point breaks. Shortboards are the most popular amongst surfers, and they can be quite difficult to paddle, and it definitely requires a lot of physical strength. However, it's really easy to duck dive a shortboard, making it a great option for surfing in larger sized waves. Shortboards are easy to turn and will respond quickly to critical sections of the wave. Fish surfboards are pretty similar to shortboards, but they tend to be wider from nose to tail, and they're usually smaller in length. It features a fish-inspired tail and is frequently ridden with a twin fin setup. Some other surfboard styles that are out there are guns, which is used specifically for huge waves, as well as tow-in boards, also used for huge waves, and then stand-up paddle boards, which can also be used to surf as well. But for our purposes, since this video is catering to beginning surfers, you probably will not need to know about those. Okay, so now moving on to wetsuits. Basically, what kind of wetsuit or lack of a wetsuit you wear is based on the water temperature that you will be surfing in. So you're either going to have a full suit, which covers all of your arms and your legs, a spring suit, which there are tons of variations of, but this basically leaves part of your arms or legs uncovered. Another option is to just have a wetsuit top, or a rash guard, or no wetsuit at all. The colder the water temperature, the thicker your wetsuit needs to be. Here in Southern California, you can usually wear a 4-3 wetsuit throughout the winter months. Move on to a 2mm spring suit when it starts to get warmer, and in the summer you can either trunk it or wear a rash guard or just a top. It's really whatever you feel the most comfortable in. When you're in the water, you don't want to focus on being too cold because then it takes away from the enjoyment of surfing, so just keep that in mind. I thought it would be fun and helpful to share with you guys my personal surfboard and wetsuit collection, so let's go outside and I'll give you a little tour. First up is my 5'5" fish from Wax Surf that I named Dairy Queen because it reminds me of a pink cow. This is the shortest and widest board in my collection, and I ride it with a twin fin setup. Next is my 5'5" fish from Stamps Surfboards named Lemon Drop, or Lemony for short, and I ride this one with a quad fin setup. Next up is another fish from Stamps Surfboards. His name is Spirulina, or Bluey if I'm being lazy about it, and I also ride this with a quad setup. Moving on to my high performance shortboard from Stamps. It's 5'10", super narrow and thin, and I ride it with a tri-fin setup. Next is my 6'6" Bonzer from Wax Surf. It's unique because it has 2 fins built into the board, and I surf it with a 3rd fin in the middle. It's a really fun mid-length board, and I love the turquoise color, but this one actually never got a name, so if you have any ideas, feel free to leave a comment down below. Next up is my 7'2" mid-size board from Stamps. I named it Periwinkle, or Peri for short, because it has this beautiful and subtle light purple color. I ride this as a single fin, and it's really fun at point breaks. This is Bamboo, my 7'6" dark green board from Album. This is one of my favorite boards to ride ever, especially at places like Malibu or Rincon. So moving on to my longboards, this one is my 9'4" log from Stamps, which I named the Green Machine. It's the ultimate nose riding surfboard and is so much fun in smaller sized surf. Next up is my first longboard that I ever bought custom made. It's a 9'2" turquoise colored longboard from Lyle Carlson. It has a ton of volume and is meant for getting those toes to the nose. Pinky is my 9'2" longboard from Stamps and is probably the board that I ride the most often. It's just my go-to because it's so much fun to cruise around on, and the bright pink color always puts me in a good mood. So I also have a 9'2" orange longboard from Wax Surf, which I very creatively named Orangey, but I indefinitely lent it to my boyfriend, so it lives at his place instead.
Okay, so behind me is my wetsuit collection, and I have all sorts of different styles depending on the temperature of the water. I have an amazing wetsuit sponsor. Shane from Jonesy Wetsuits Custom makes me all of my wetsuits. So these are a few of the designs that we did together. And in this section I have all of my long arm spring suits. These are all pretty much the same cut. I just played around with colors. This one is a heather gray with a metallic-y bronze color. This is the only suit that I have of its kind where it doesn't have any arms, but it has long legs. This suit is so great for the water temperatures right now where it's kind of in the low 60s. So it keeps my legs warm, but it still gives my arms the freedom to move. I've got a bunch of 4-3 full suits. We designed this really dark pine green as an accent color and a basic black full suit. So that's a quick look at my wetsuit collection, and now let's go back to my room.
Okay, so besides your surfboard and maybe a wetsuit, I'm gonna go over some other things that you're going to need to surf. So first up is some wax. If you're using a foam board, you don't need to worry about this, but with any other kind of board, you're gonna want some wax so that your feet don't slip off the board when you catch a wave. You can pick up wax at any surf shop, and you're gonna want some base coat. It creates a base layer for your board for the top coat to stick onto, and based on the water temperature that you're trying to surf in, you can either get tropical, cool, or cold. So once again, let's go step outside and I'll demonstrate how to apply base coat and top coat to your board.
So I've got myself a clean board right here. I actually used some wax remover to really make it a good surface so it's ready to be re-waxed. Basically, I'm gonna be using some base coat or Tropic and some cool top coat. Anywhere your body is going to be touching your board, you want it to be waxed. Here I've got my base coat. Apply it with these circles. Basically just gonna wax up to where my chest would be laying on this board, which is probably around here. And now I'm just going to go over it with the top coat. Same concept as a base coat, Just going to draw these circles. This is what a freshly waxed board looks like. It's very pretty in my opinion. So this is all ready to go for a surf.
Another thing that you might want is a leash, and basically this is a leg rope that attaches your board to your leg so that if you wipe out, you don't lose your board. If you have a short board, you're gonna want a shorter leash versus riding a long board, you're gonna want a longer leash for that. Usually a leash will wrap around either your left or right ankle depending on whichever you feel more comfortable with. In certain cases, there's even a calf leash. This is mainly for longboarders who don't want to trip over the leash when they're cross-stepping to the nose. Another thing you're going to want to use is sunscreen. I personally recommend a mineral or natural zinc for your face because it creates an actual blockage of the UV rays. And whatever sunscreen brand you use, make sure that it is reef friendly. Another fun accessory that's not necessarily a necessity but is nice to have is a changing towel poncho. My favorite changing ponchos are from Slow Tide. Basically, a changing poncho just makes the changing process in public a lot easier. It keeps you covered up when changing into a bathing suit or into your wetsuit and in and out of it. And it also helps to keep you warm in the winter. So that's pretty much all the gear that you need to go surfing. What I love about this sport is how low maintenance it is. I mean, all you really need at its core is a wave and a surfboard. In the next video, I will be going over ocean knowledge and how to navigate the lineup. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching this first part, and I'll see you in the next video.